Good morning, everyone, and welcome to This Homemade Life. My name is Courtney, and this is my channel. In case you don't know, I am a homeschool mom, so today I thought I would bring you along for our very first day of second grade. Last year, we spent a lot of time relying pretty heavily on some online curriculum. Everything was kind of just sold out, and it happened so fast and was on back order that I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do. We ended up having a great school year. I did kind of Frankenstein together our curriculum for the year, and it worked out beautifully. We had a lot of fun. We learned a ton of stuff. But this year, I was much more prepared. So I have had our curriculum for, I'd say, about 4.5 months now, ready to go, just sitting there and waiting for me. This year, we're going to be doing a lot more journaling, a lot more textbook style reading, like read aloud stuff for our science and history. And I do have a lot of different workbooks that we're going to rely on this year. Last year I was kind of picking up like extra math and phonics and spelling workbooks that I could just find, and they were hard to come by. This year I have done a lot of research and picked out what I wanted, and that is what we're going to be working with this year. We're also going to be using the Good and the Beautiful's language arts program. In case you don't know, their language arts and math for elementary students is free to download online, and it is really a very good curriculum. Unfortunately, I didn't know that until over halfway through last school year, so we're finishing up the first grade language arts program before we move on to the second, but that's okay because we're able to work at a little bit faster pace than what they require because we had already done a different program. So we're going to finish that one up in a couple of weeks, and then we'll move on to their second grade program. Anyway, I thought I'd bring you guys along for our first day of second grade. So let's head down the hall, check on the kids, see if they're ready to go, and get learning.
Okay, y'all, let's travel back in time just a little bit. Here I am, the Sunday morning before the first day of second grade. As I mentioned just a minute ago in my intro, we homeschool year-round, which means we just have 2-week breaks throughout the school year. We just had one of those 2-week breaks, and it was wonderful. I played with the kids, we kind of relaxed. I tackled a bunch of household projects that I had really been wanting to get to. But let me tell you what I did not do. I did not come into my schoolroom and prepare it for second grade. So here I am the day before, unpacking school supplies, getting them out of their boxes, putting them in pencil boxes. These desks that we've had for just a couple of weeks, they have organizational drawers in them, so I'm having to get all the supplies put in there and ready to go for the boys on the first day. And then, of course, I moved my big desk out because it was too large for the space and replaced it with this small little black table as my teacher desk, and it is the perfect size, but I got to get it ready, too, for the first day of school. So here I am, last minute, getting it all done. But anyway, that is taken care of, it's all put together, and now let's jump back to the first day of second grade.
All right, what's today, guys?
School.
But it's our first day of
Homework. No. It's our first day of second grade.
That's right, it's our first day of second grade. Are you guys ready to do this?
Yeah.
You ready to learn things?
Yeah.
You ready to read things?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, less enthusiasm there, huh?
What's this?
All right, well, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, let me get our stuff together and let's get learning.
I feel like we have a pretty typical school day. I started this off because it is our first day of second grade, showing them these new little calendars I have. They're just simple weekly calendars, but it shows everything we'll be doing. It's more for me than them, but they can always check it and make sure they know what's going on. And then, of course, we have a 3D calendar, so everybody loves to change the date and the weather and that sort of thing. So we'll get that done first of all. And then we're going to move on to our work. This year we're starting something new. It's a program through the Thinking Tree. It's called Fun Schooling. It's a lot of journaling, which I really like because it kind of gets their brains thinking and being creative. So the thing that drew me to them the most, though, was this dyslexia program. My middle son, Camden, is dyslexic. And they said that these booklets not only help with that, but they also help to form really good handwriting, and also to kind of help kids learn to focus and things like that. And it just so happens my youngest son Jensen has a lot of trouble focusing, and his handwriting could use a lot of help. It is pretty messy. It's not something he just really focuses on doing well. So I thought this would be a great program for both of them to be doing in the morning. So we're going to start every day off working out of these little booklets. The next thing I like to do is to go ahead and bring out our devotional. We always do a devotional in the morning, and we usually work our way through a couple of devotional books every year. This is a new one, so I was just kind of showing it to them. I have picked it up. Mardell's always has these books on like a $5 table, so I can usually run in and grab a couple throughout the year. I was just showing them the new book and everything, but here you can see in typical homeschool fashion, because we're at the house, there are a few interruptions and bumps along the way. My oldest came in, he was getting ready to start college soon on this day, and he had to go take care of some business at the bank, all sorts of stuff, and he just needed a little help before he left. But then we just kind of roll right back into it, and we're going to read a couple of devotional stories. I try to do 2 out of this book every day. Usually the stories 2 in a row are kind of connected, so it makes sense to me to kind of do those together before we move on to another thing. Just kind of roll them up in a nice little package. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So next we like to move right on into the core subjects. This is math. Now by the time you're seeing this, we've already moved on from this book. I thought this was going to be a great place to start. It kind of reviews first grade and brings in a few new concepts for second grade. It's a short book. It should have only taken us about 3 weeks to do. But as I mentioned in my intro for this video, The Good and the Beautiful does have the free math and language arts. So I decided to go ahead and move over to that free Good and the Beautiful math. I've already printed out the books by week 2, and we are working our way through them. I'm going to keep these little workbooks and the other one I had planned for the year, and we're going to do them as like filler work and stuff like that. A little extra work on the side, things when we need to practice concepts, but it's no longer going to be our main way of doing math. We're going to use The Good and the Beautiful. But as you can see here, they were doing mostly independent work in this book. I did pop over and answer a few questions and check their work to make sure that they were on track. They knew what they were doing. They were getting the right answers, that sort of thing. Next, we moved on to a little bit of spelling. We're doing spelling a couple of different ways this year. So first of all, they're just kind of reading over some new words and writing them, understanding what they mean from this book, that kind of thing. And then we're going to be doing just your regular spelling, where I have a list of 10 words and 2 bonus words that we're going to go over every week. We're going to practice spelling them and writing them. And then on Fridays, we'll have just a traditional spelling test to make sure that they have learned how to spell them. But this just kind of adds to their vocabulary, expands, their reading skills, that sort of thing. And again, it's a book from the Thinking Tree, the Fun Schooling Pack, and it's just called Spelling Time.
So this is our spelling. It starts off pretty easy. They read aloud to me, and then they get to color the words that are their spelling words for this week. For 2 days we'll work in this book, and the other days during the week we'll work on copywriting our words, and then on Friday we'll take a spelling test. So he's finishing up coloring his N and making them all beautiful. And Camden over here, I think he's done his. And he's colored the picture that goes with it. Look how colorful that is. So lovely. He did a great job. Look at that.
So now we're just working on finishing with that spelling book. As you can see, the crayons are out. This book does encourage a lot of creativity, which I like. School shouldn't just be about reading and writing. Your brain needs to be exercised a lot of different ways, and they're getting creative with the colors here. I'm a big fan of that. But now Camden is finished, and he's going to sit down on the floor and read a couple of books to me. We do have a pretty good reading program here at the house. The boys earn things by reading lots of books. Currently, they are working their way to an Oculus, which is a pretty lofty goal. It's going to take most of the school year, but that's okay. They're going to learn a lot doing it. And of course, let me guys show you a clip of somebody who wishes he could be in here with us, but he's a little bit too distracting, so we had to keep him outside the gate. Poor little guy looks so sad. Kiba. Who's a pretty boy? Are you a pretty boy? All right, it is time to move on to our next topic, and that is going to be science. Science is one of their favorites. It's a lot of fun, especially when you're little. So we are working on a science workbook. It's a second grade science workbook that I picked up off of Amazon. And it turns out, once I got it, we've already covered all the topics in first grade. It just worked out that way. So I'm using this as a review, and we'll work on this for just a couple of weeks. I mean, really, it's going to take us 3 or 4 weeks to work through this whole workbook because we're so familiar with this stuff. But it is definitely helping to kind of solidify the vocabulary and the concepts with the boys. So I'm looking at it as a positive. But we're going to work our way through this, and then we'll move on to another big book that I got that has a lot more detail and a lot more stuff in it. I think they're going to love it too. All right, so now we have finished our core subjects which are math, reading, science, and social studies, which for social studies, we're doing a couple of things this year. We worked on a geography workbook this morning, and we also have a couple of different history books we're going to be reading throughout the year, and they're in that stack on the floor. But right now, the boys are working on some journals from the Thinking Tree. They're part of that fun schooling program. Camden just finished his, and now he's doing some word cards that kind of help with his dyslexia. Jensen is putting the title of all the books we're going to be reading this year into the beginning of his journal, filling it out, and putting in some of his personal information that they ask questions. You know, your favorite this, your favorite that sort of thing. And while the boys are doing that, I have got a Judy Blume book that we are reading aloud. I thought it would take us about 2 weeks, but we ended up finishing it after about 6 days. So Judy Blume was one of my favorite authors when I was young. I remember reading like Super Fudge, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, Sheila the Great, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. I loved all of them. So I thought, okay, we're going to read a lot of those because I thought they were so fun. We started with Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, and we're going to follow that up with Super Fudge and Fudgemania. The boys loved the book. They really had such a great time. They were so excited to read it every day, so I cannot wait to start the next one. And as you can see, there is always a ton of activity in our schoolroom, whether it's the kids doing their thing or pets that like to come in and visit. One of our little dogs is in there today. She is blind and she is deaf. So I like to let her stay with me sometimes just because it makes her feel safe and happy. And of course, there is our little black kitten, Namiri, making herself right at home, just begging for some attention. She is also almost completely blind, so she kind of tends to stay in well-lit areas of the house, and the schoolroom is definitely her favorite room with that big window in there. But she likes to come visit and say hi to everyone. All right, now it's time to try something new. So this was something I decided on my own we were going to do this year, and I picked up a bunch of these DK books. I've got, the one we're reading right now is a history book, but I've also picked up ones about animals, dinosaurs, bugs, the human body, robots, all kinds of stuff. And we're just going to kind of sit down and read through them throughout the year as if they were like a textbook for us, kind of. The history I thought was really cool, and I do have a couple of different types of history books, but they really outline everything that happened in the history of the world, which I thought was really neat. It covers everything from the beginning all the way to the present, and one of them even kind of guesses what they think the future is going to be like. And of course, the ones on the animals and bugs and dinosaurs are just really cool. Tons of pictures, really educational, and lots of really cool facts that the boys, as you can see, are really interested in. Now, these books are not what I call part of our core subjects. Of course, they do tie in, history ties in with social studies, and animals, robots, ocean creatures, that sort of stuff ties in with science. This was just a little extra bonus that I wanted to throw in this year and have the boys do the reading with me. And then also I picked up a bunch of different crafts like a shark tooth dig kit, things like that, making some model dinosaurs. And I found a bunch of documentaries on places like Curiosity Stream, and on Disney Plus there was a number of really cool documentaries. So I thought, well, this will just be some extra bonus stuff we do. But for now, this is the last of our traditional schoolwork we're going to do today. It's been about 4.5 hours, and I tried to keep it at 4 hours or less in the schoolroom in the morning, but it was Monday and it was the first day, so of course we went over. I feel like the boys are definitely ready for a break at that point, and I do like to give them one. And then later on in the afternoon, we will come back and we will do our reading. The boys are required to read at least 2 books out loud to myself, my husband, or my older son. And they also have to do some computer work on ABC Math Seeds, and Reading X. So we do try to take a break before we do all that stuff so they can kind of get their wiggles out. And it is definitely time for that, so let's head outside.
All right, guys, we are done with homeschool for the day. It went great. We had a good time. We enjoyed what we did, but I am so glad to be done because I've got other things to do. Mondays are usually my power through the house cleaning days. Everybody's been home on the weekend. Messes get made. We're kind of busy. We're doing things, so it's not always cleaned up like it should be. So Mondays are my days to kind of hit it hard. I already cleaned up my bedroom, made my bed, did my vacuuming back there, and my son's doing his own laundry today, so I will not be using the washer and dryer. I do need to wash these dishes, put them in the dishwasher, wipe off my countertops, and vacuum because we have a husky and hair. Oh my gosh, the hair. So I'm gonna get started on that. You guys can come along with me. That is all nice and clean. I'm gonna go and wipe down all the countertops, get everything kind of cleaned up. I'll do my stove after dinner tonight. It does need a good wipe down, but I want to finish all my cooking before I do that because gas stoves are a lot of work to clean. Like, you have to take everything apart. Mine has 3 different grates on top that have to come off. Then you have to take each of the burner pieces off. There's 5 of those. You gotta clean those. It's a lot of work. So I just save that until I am completely done cooking for the day so I can at least enjoy a pretty nice, clean, sparkling stove for a while. Just going to go ahead and wipe everything down. Like I said, we have a husky. I feel like hair just gets everywhere in this house, so I like to wipe my counters down a couple times a day too. He doesn't get up here, but he does hang out in here with me all the time. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Yeah. So, right now it's like super shedding season in Husky land. So I feel like there is just a ridiculous amount of hair kind of everywhere. I vacuum every single day, sometimes twice a day, and there's still just hair. Huskies are a pretty new experience for our household. This guy's not even a year old. He was born in October, I think. So he is still a puppy. Despite his size, he is still very much a puppy. Are you just a big baby? Are you just a big baby? I think you're a big baby. He's really just sitting over there hoping I'll give him an ice cube. That's one of his favorite treats. Are you hot? You want a treat? You want a treat? Good boy. That's wondering, I just use this ever spraying all-purpose lemon and mint cleaner. I love the smell. I even bought a candle. I also have their I think it's stone and tile cleaner. I use that on occasion when I want to really polish the countertops, but this is my everyday go-to. I use it to clean everything. It smells good, and I got it from Target. Let's see, it's 91% bio-based, not tested on animals, biodegradable formula, so I just feel like maybe it's a little bit better, and it wasn't expensive either. Way cheaper than like Method and all that. I think it's a Target brand. I'm not certain. I have not spent a lot of time shopping at Target. I know. But yeah, so you see, I give it a shot. I think this stuff works great. All right, so I like to clean from the top down. So now that all the countertops have been wiped off, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my vacuum. Try to get all the dog hair and stuff off the floor, any crumbs that went down there, that sort of thing. So this is one of our other dogs. You wonder why she just stands in the way. It's because she is completely deaf and almost blind. She's almost 15 years old, so she just really doesn't know what's going on around her anymore. She just kind of stays where she senses that I am or smells me or something. She's a little bit of eyesight left, but not much. But she'll move when she's ready. There she goes. Do you know how hard it is to film one of these like closeout things for your video? Like, I feel like there's things I'm supposed to say, but I never know exactly what it is I'm supposed to say, right? I know it's the whole like the video, subscribe to the channel, right? But you guys already know that. Anyway, I guess I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in and spending the day with us, because it really was cool to bring you guys along for our homeschool journey. It was the first day of second grade, so first days are always awesome. We love our new curriculum. We had a great time. We learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the school year because I think it's going to be a really good year for us. I've also done my cleaning for the day. What I did off camera was like my bedroom and bathroom and that sort of thing. Now the whole ground floor is clean. The second floor is a whole different story, but that is really part of my oldest and my two little ones' job. Clean up their playroom, clean up their room. My oldest is supposed to clean the bathroom, that sort of thing. So I just kind of periodically go up there and check in on things, maybe reorganize if things are getting a little chaotic, whatever. But that's not today. Today's a Monday. Today was the first day of school. And today I'm tired of doing things. I'm ready to chill and have a good time with my kids. So until I have to cook dinner anyway, that is. But for now, I am going to cut this off and get going and hanging out with my kids. I, again, want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and spending the day with us. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I will see you guys really soon with some more awesome content. Bye.